California woman killed during a trip to Houston says police may have found the remains of his daughter, Felicia Johnson.
Felicia went missing during her trip to Houston last year.
They release her, then I will be able to have a service for her and pay her the respects that she needs.
A phone ditched on the side of a road, covered in blood. That's how this one starts, not with a scream, not with a struggle anybody saw. Just a phone sitting in the grass off a quiet Houston roadway, while 5 miles away, a 24-year-old woman named Felicia Johnson was already gone. Her family didn't know that yet. All they knew was she'd stopped answering. And if you know anything about the kind of daughter Felicia was, that silence alone was enough to set off alarms. What happened to her in those missing hours would take almost a year to fully surface. And when it did, it involved a search history that reads like a confession, and a man who is, as of right now, still out there. Let's get into it. Felicia Johnson grew up in San Diego. Her dad, Kevin, describes her the way you'd hope any parent gets to describe their kid: beautiful. Sharp, funny, full of plans. She wanted to work in hair, makeup, modeling. She had that kind of energy where you just assumed good things were coming her way. In April 2022, she just turned 24. Big birthday family around her. The whole thing. And a few days later, she did something a lot of us have done at some point. Chased an opportunity in a new city. She flew to Houston alone, hoping to line up some work and, honestly, just enjoy herself a little. She checked into a hotel near the Texas Medical Center. And here's the thing, her family keeps coming back to Felicia, always checked in. Didn't matter where she was, she'd text. She'd call, she stayed close with her people. So when she went quiet on April 15th, nobody sat on that. Not for one day. On the night of April 15th, Felicia went to a club called Cover Girls on the west side of Houston to audition. She was turned away. Whatever happened at that door, we don't know the details, but we know it didn't end her night. A club patron reportedly offered her a ride afterward, and then she vanished. Her dad flew out to Houston almost immediately. A family member had been quietly tracking Felicia's phone location. The kind of thing families do now, half out of habit, half out of love, and they noticed something wrong. The phone hadn't moved for hours. Late that night or early the next morning, that phone turned up along Eldridge Parkway, near Bear Creek Pioneers Park, ditched, covered in blood. I think this is the point where a lot of families would have told themselves a hopeful story. Maybe she lost it. Maybe there's an explanation. Felicia's family didn't get that luxury. Not with blood on the phone. They knew. And so within days, a small army showed up to look for her. Houston PD, the FBI, Texas EquiSearch volunteers, highway crews walking the roadside, all searching for a woman who, by then, detectives were already building a very different kind of case around. Here's where it gets ugly fast, so bear with me. Felicia had posted an ad on an escorting site, looking for work. A man named Chukwuebuka Nwaobodo, 28 years old, a Houston resident, responded. They'd never met in person. Everything happened over Snapchat. And eventually he agreed to pay her $500 to meet up. Around 3 a.m. on April 16th, an Uber picked Felicia up from her hotel. Nwaobodo had arranged it. It took her to an apartment complex on Windchase Boulevard, where she met him. And from there, investigators say he drove her to his actual residence on South Richmond Avenue. That apartment is the last place Felicia Johnson was alive. Investigators believe she was murdered there in that early morning window. And what happened in the days after is honestly one of the more chilling parts of this whole case. Surveillance footage from a Walmart and a Home Depot picked him up buying a circular saw, large trash bags, towels, a flashlight. Sit with that for a second, because those aren't random purchases. Those are tools for a very specific, very deliberate task. Police believe he used them. And then, they say, he dumped Felicia's purse and her clothing in a park nearby, which is exactly where her bloodied phone had already turned up. Now, if you're thinking, surely there was enough here to arrest him immediately. You'd think so, but this case moved slower than it should have. And that's part of what makes it so frustrating. Detectives spent weeks building the case. Bank records showed Nwaobodo withdrew $500 on April 16th, matching exactly what he'd agreed to pay Felicia. Uber records and phone GPS confirmed the ride, hotel to Windchase Boulevard to his apartment. On May 13th, almost a month after Felicia disappeared, police finally searched his apartment and his car. What they found should have been enough on its own. Felicia's blood, her DNA, in multiple places, along with a handgun, a kitchen knife, a shovel, gloves, and then his phone. A photo of a dismembered woman's torso, photos of other bodies police couldn't even identify, and the search history. This is the part that still gets people. In the days after Felicia disappeared, someone on that phone searched how to be a serial killer, how to get away with murder. What does bleach do to blood? That's not panic, that's planning. But here's the part that's almost impossible to sit with. Despite all of that, blood, DNA, the photo, the search history, police didn't have quite enough in that exact moment to hold him on a homicide charge. He was released. Most people stop paying attention to a case once the suspect's been identified. This is exactly where you shouldn't. Because for the next several weeks, while detectives quietly built the actual charges, Nwaobodo was just out there, living his life. On June 9, 2022, Houston police finally announced it publicly: Chukwuebuka Nwaobodo, charged with murder and tampering with evidence. They also revealed something else. Back in 2020, he'd already been investigated for a sexual assault. The alleged victim didn't press charges at the time. Police were now calling him extremely dangerous. And Crime Stoppers put up a reward, reportedly up to $5,000, for information leading to his capture. There was just one problem. By the time all of this became public, Nwaobodo was already gone, vanished, days after his own arraignment. And given his family ties overseas, investigators suspected he'd fled back to Nigeria. Extradition is technically possible under treaty. Actually finding him is a different story entirely. For almost 10 months, Felicia's family lived in that unbearable space between hope and dread. No body, no confirmation, just vigils. In Houston and back home in San Diego, and a father who kept saying some version of the same thing: "I'm not leaving until I know what happened to my daughter." Then, on February 7, 2023, a Texas Department of Transportation worker was out on a forest road near Flamingo Lakes, in the Sam Houston National Forest, about 50 miles north of the city, and he found a small bag of human bones. 3 weeks later, on February 27th, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office confirmed it through dental records. Those remains belonged to Felicia Johnson. Her father's reaction, honestly, says everything about what that decade of not knowing does to a person. He said it hurt because part of him still believed she was alive somewhere. But it was also closure, knowing he'd finally get to bring her home. Felicia was laid to rest in California that spring, surrounded, finally, by the people who never stopped looking for her. Chukwuebuka Nwaobodo has still not been found. As far as we know, that warrant is still active, and he is still, right now, a wanted man. To Felicia's family, we're so sorry for what you've carried, and for the years of waiting that never should have gone on this long. Her name deserves to be remembered for who she was, not just how her story ended. If this case ever gets closure, hopefully it comes soon.
Yeah, Brittany, this family, the dad in particular, has been through a lot, going back a year. They're in California. How do they move forward here?
Well, I was talking with Kevin today again, and he gave me an update saying that they're now trying to have a foundation for Felicia, a foundation to, again, help women or girls that have been lured into sex trafficking. So that looks like the next step in this dad trying to get some justice and making a change.
It's unfortunate that he has to champion and start a cause like that, but sadly, as we see, it's much needed.
Yeah.
Right. Brittany Ford, thank you.
Thanks, Brittany.
And again, police have not confirmed the remains are Felicia's, and police have not arrested Nwaobodo. Police believe he killed Johnson at his West Houston apartment before disposing of her body. Court documents show police did take the suspect into custody a month after Johnson went missing on an unrelated traffic stop. He was later released. The suspect is charged with murder and tampering with evidence. If you have any information on where the suspect is, you know what to do. Contact police.
Now, if you have any information on the suspect, you're told to contact police or Crime Stoppers. There is a $5,000 reward. Reporting live, Anayeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
Thank you for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. If you want more cases like this one, covered with the same care, hit subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel keep going. Let me know in the comments what you think happened to Nwobodo. See you next time.